Hello everyone, this is Satyaprakash. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this part 7, we'll describe what is Src folder in Angular CLI. So I'll suggest you before going through this part 7, please visit my part 6 of Angular CLI, that is project structure of Angular CLI in details. So what is the purpose of each file and folders in part 6. So you can get this video in Angular CLI tutorial playlist of my channel. So let's see what is the Src folder in Angular CLI and whatever points we need to discuss in this part 7. So what is Src folder in Angular CLI and the Src folder and its content in Angular CLI. So in this video we'll discuss the Src folder and its contents. In last video we described all the files and folders in Angular project except the Src folder and its contents. Alright, so go to the next slide. So there is some contents of Src folder. So what is Src folder? So Src folder I'll show you. Go to my Visual Studio Code. Before that I open that code using command prompt. It is my path of my Angular project, which one I used also in my last video. So I given the path and code some space and dot. You can get it in my directory here. The same thing I have used in my command prompt. Okay, so after then the code is open in my Visual Studio Code here. So as per the presentation we need to know about what is Src folder. So what is Src folder? You can get here Src folder here. Alright, so as the name implies, this folder contains all our Angular project source code, components, templates, pipes, services, images, styles, etc. that our Angular application needs are present in this folder. The rest of these files and folders that are present outside this folder are there to support building our Angular application. So this is the Src folder and its definitions. Alright, so next one is the assets. So what is assets? So assets, you can get here the assets folder here. So as the name implies, the assets folder contains the assets of your applications like images, anything like else to be copied when you build your applications. Alright, so this is the definitions of assets. Next one is, I'll go to my presentation here. Next one is environments. So environments is this folder contains the environment files. So you can get here another folder here, environments under Src. So this folder contains the environment files. By default we have two environment files, that is one is environment prod.prod.ts and environment.ts. Alright, so environment.ts is for the development environment. Notice production property is in this file is set to false. So I'll show you in the production file. So I just open this one. So here the production is by default, that is it is set to true here, right? And if I'll open that environment.ts, and you can see that the production is set to false. So as I told you, the environment.ts is for development environment and production property in this file is for it set to false. So environment.prod.ts, I'll already open this one. So environment.prod.ts is for production purpose. Notice in this file production property is set to true. Alright, so as I expected it is true because it is for production, because the name implies environment.prod.ts, and for development that is environment.ts only. So the build system defaults to the dev environment which uses environment.ts, right? So the build system defaults to the dev environment which uses the environment.ts, but if we do a production build, the environment.prod.ts will be used. So this one, so environment.prod.ts. The file and environment mapping is in Angular CLI configuration file, that is Angular.json. I already have told you about that. You can see that Angular.json. So the file and environment mapping is in Angular CLI configuration files. If I open this one, Angular.json, you can get this all related mapping files are defined here. Alright, so this one, the Angular JSON work, you can see that there is two files are mentioned with for production, that is environment.ts. It replaces with the environment.prod.ts when it will be go for the production part. So this configuration is mentioned in the angular.json. Alright, okay, now I'll go to my next one, that is a Fab Icon Dot Ico. So you can get here this file, Fab Icon Dot Ico. So this is the favorite icon for your application, which is typically displayed in the browser address bar and next to the page name in a list of bookmarks. So Angular CLI provides this Fab Icon, favorite icon, out of the box. You may replace this Fab Icon with your own company Fab Icon. I'll go to my presentation with which one is the next one is index.html. So index.html, you can see here index.html. I just open this one. Okay, before that I'll just show you what is the favorite icon. So I just click here. So it will take some time to open the favorite icon here. Okay, need to close and reopen again. Okay, I'll show you in my directory, that is a favorite icon, what it is. So go to Src folder and you can see that it is an icon file. Alright, so you cannot open using some files and folders because it is the unknown file icon is there. So it is the type extension is ICO or icon. Alright, so I just close this one or it will start to open. It has no contents as of now, so it has the default content. You can see here when I open this favorite icon, Fab Icon Dot Ico, this by default the Angular provides this icon, some Angular A. It is showing with the white mark and the background is a blue or blue mark, right? You can see here. So next one is index.html. So I'll open this index.html here. The main HTML page that is served when someone visits our website. And next one is main.ts. So go to Visual Studio. So it is the main.ts. You can see one file is there. So the main entry point for the application, this file contains the code to bootstrap the application root module and app module. Right, you can see that this some import sections is there and it is mapped to some physical paths, that's app.module, and this application root module, this file contains the code of bootstrap here, and also it is mapped to the environment files and some Angular core packages and platform browser dynamics. So this is the main entry point of Angular CLI project, right? So I'll go to the next one, and next one is polyfill.ts. So I'll close this main.ts and go to the polyfill.ts. So this is the polyfills file. The Angular is built on the latest standard of the web platform. Targeting such a web range of browsers is challenging because not all browsers support all the features of modern browsers. This can be compensated by using polyfill scripts as they implemented the missing features in JavaScript. So these polyfills allow us to use an API regardless of whether it is supported by a browser or not. So this is the main part of definitions of polyfills.ts, and it has some comments. You can see in the green mark, this is for the user specific. You can get the details about this browser polyfills. You can get some comments here. So IE and Internet Explorer 10 and 11 requires the following for ng class support. There is some there is some some points have been defined for the browser specific. So it will be this polyfills allow us to use an API regardless whether it is supported by a browser or not. Alright, so next one is styles.scss. Some persons can see styles.css because during creation of your Angular project, this asks for you want CSS or SCSS. So if you put CSS, you can get in your project style.css, but in my project, as per requirement, I have created the styles.scss during my project. Alright, so this file contains the global styles of our application. Styles are that are local and specific to a component are often defined within the component itself for a easier maintenance purpose. So it is showing as of now there is no content, and it's some defined with comments that you can add global styles to this file, also import other styles files, right? So next one is test.ts. so I just close this one. Test.ts is, so this file is the main entry point for unit tests and loads all the .spec and framework files. So you can see that the test.ts contents is shown like this. It is used for the unit testing purpose. Alright, so next one is, that is the tsconfig dot app dot json. So go to my Visual Studio Code and ts.config dot json. You can see here, sorry, tsconfig dot app dot json. So tsconfig dot app dot json, it is a TypeScript compiler configuration for the Angular app. So you can see this is the content of tsconfig dot app dot json. So next one is tsconfig dot spec dot json. So if you'll see in my Visual Studio Code, you can see here tsconfig dot spec dot json. So tsconfig dot spec dot json is a TypeScript compiler configuration for the unit test. This is the content of tsconfig dot spec dot json. So next one is typings.d.ts. So this is the TypeScript typings file. Many JavaScript libraries such as jQuery, Angular, etc. extend the JavaScript environment with features and syntax that the TypeScript compiler does not recognize natively. So when the TypeScript compiler does not recognize something, it throws an error. So we use TypeScript type definitions files to tell the compiler about those libraries. So this TypeScript type definitions file have the extension that is .d.ts. So TypeScript editor leverages this type definition file to display type informations. Alright, so I'll go to my Visual Studio Code, and there is I'll show you some d.ts extensions. So many libraries including type definition file in their npm packages. So Angular is one such library. For example, if you look inside node_modules and in this node_modules and Angular @Angular, and there is another is called core, and there is a folder, some folders in an Angular application. It already contains the type definitions files. So all these files have the extensions called d.ts as the type definition files. So we'll discuss more about this type definition file in my next videos. So you can see that some type definition files is there, that is testing.d.ts, core.d.ts, like this. Alright, so this is the about typing.d.ts and what is type definition files and where you can get this in Visual Studio Code of your Angular project. And next one is the app component.ts. So I'll go to my Visual Studio Code here. I just open that, go to Src folder and go to app folder, and you can get here one file called app.component.ts. So app.component.ts, it is a Typescript file. Alright, so it contains some selector called app-root, and it maps to the template URL app.component.html, and style URL it's called app.component.scss. So this is, you can find the app.component.ts file. Next one is app.component.html file. Go to Visual Studio Code, and here you can see app.component.html file. So this is the HTML templates of the, it is the root component HTML template of Angular CLI. You can see that of the component called app.component.html. So here it is the HTML template, so that it contains some CSS class and some HTML related contents. Here you can see, right, some deep tag and some resources, some next steps you need to do, and some links you can add in the app.component.html. So it is nothing but a HTML template. So go to my presentation here. Next one is app.component.scss. so this is the style sheet, right? So it is the root component, that is style sheet. So you can see here this file is available here, app.component.scss. so as of now it has no contents. It is used for style sheet purpose or adding CSS or global styles. So this is the CSS part, style sheet part. And next one is app.component.spec.ts. so it is the spec files and the root component, the spec files. So you can get here the app.component.scss, app.component.spec.ts. alright, so you can see that some import sections have defined here for testing. For it is Angular packages have mentioned the path, app.components are mentioned here. So this is for the spec files. So this is the all about the components, that is the app.component.html, app.component.scss, app.component.spec.ts, app.component.ts. And the last one is app.module.ts. so where the app.module.ts you can get here, right? So app.module.ts, this is the root application module, so nothing but the app module. So here some import sections are defined. For browser module part, it is Angular packages path is defined, platform browser, Angular core, and for app routing module the path is mentioned, app-routing.module file name, and the app components. So all the declarations you can mention under the @ng module sections. So here the app component is defined, and you can call here app components. And for import section you have mentioned browser module and app routing module as defined in the import section of this app.module.ts. alright, so this is the nothing but the root application module. So this is the definition of app.module.ts in Angular CLI application. So this is all about SRC and its contents. So this is my YouTube channel. Subscribe and share it to get the up-to-date knowledge on .NET Core, SQL Server, Azure, DevOps, and GitHub. So what we have learned today in this video, that is what is Src folder in Angular CLI and the Src folder and its contents in Angular CLI using Visual Studio Code of your Angular CLI project. So this is all about, guys. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.